Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to a special video where I will reveal the results of a test we conducted on third-party HEPA filters and disposable bags for robot vacuums. The results of these tests were eye-opening, and I almost want to use words like scam or scandal, but you can decide if that language is too strong after hearing me out. If you've ever looked into buying replacement bags or filters for your robot vacuum, you probably just type into Amazon bags for Roborock Q7 or whatever, and you buy a pack of 12 with good reviews and at a good price and don't think anything else of it. You may have even noticed that the price for the official bags and filters from the manufacturer are 5 or 6 times the price of the knockoff ones. But you thought, how bad can they be? Well, that's exactly what we wanted to find out. So we chose one of the most popular robot vacuums, the Roborock Q7, and bought the best-selling replacement bags and replacement filters for it from third-party sellers on Amazon and put them through a basic test along with the official versions to see how bad the situation was. But first, some background information. The term HEPA stands for High Efficiency Particulate Air. It technically means a filter that removes 99.97% of particles down to 0.3 microns per US DOE standard. And robot vacuum bags and filters really need to be made of HEPA or near HEPA material in order to be effective. And to be fair, as far as I can tell, most reputable manufacturers of vacuums and air purifiers do spend the money to make actual HEPA filters. But that's not always the case with third-party sellers. The problem is there's no regulatory body that verifies HEPA claims for household products. Surprisingly, manufacturers can call their filters HEPA without any third-party tests to prove it. As the U.S. air purifier maker IQ Air notes, there is no requirement that household air purifiers are tested to meet HEPA standards, and no independent body is required to test or verify the HEPA claim. So basically, it's the Wild West in the HEPA filter world, and it's easy money, because unless the consumer has specialized equipment or is very sensitive to allergens, they're never going to find out if they have a real HEPA filter or not. To make matters worse, even when they're trying to abide by regulations, manufacturers have invented a confusing array of terms around HEPA. You might see filters sold as true HEPA or HEPA type or HEPA-like. These sound similar but are not the same as genuine tested HEPA filters. They often trap fewer particles, sometimes only 90% or so, which is well below true HEPA performance standards. So in summary, they can sell fake HEPA filters, call them HEPA filters, make false claims about how good they are, and not only will you likely not be able to tell the difference, there really isn't anything anyone can do about it. Before we get into the tests, let me talk about the fog test that we do. In the past, I've done lots of in-depth particle testing using specialized very fine dust and digital particle counters, and that's all fine and good. But these days, I use a more blunt and to-the-point fog test with the various vacuums and air purifiers that we test. The fog test isn't perfect, but it is good at revealing that a filter is not an actual HEPA filter. According to smokemachines.com, the typical cheap fog machine like the one we use for this test has fog particles between 1 and 5 microns, which may not sound like much, but when you compare that to the 0.3 micron size that a HEPA filter is supposed to filter out, 1.5 microns is pretty big. So if a filter or bag is letting out a lot of large fog particles, we can be absolutely sure that it's not a HEPA filter. Moving on to the tests. You can see that when we tested the official filter from Roborock, there was absolutely no visible fog. This is typical of true HEPA filters that filter out 99.7 particles down to 0.3 microns. However, all but one of the best-selling replacement filters that we bought from other companies failed this test, spewing out tons of fog, seemingly filtering nothing but the largest of particles. But that did not stop the companies from making claims like the following. Quote, "The washable, true HEPA filter can capture 99.97% of particles as small as 0.3 microns. The filtration function is as efficient as the original true HEPA washable filter." To be fair, most of the companies make less bold claims than that. Interestingly, Roborock themselves makes no claims about their filters on their website or Amazon, despite being actual HEPA filters. There was one third-party brand that we tested that passed the test. The brand was called R-Rokio. So on the one hand, it's apparently possible to make HEPA filters and sell them at a low price, but it's also clearly very rare, and as far as I can tell, there is absolutely no way of knowing ahead of time which one you'll get. Let's move on to the fog tests of the vacuum bags. Here it was the same basic thing. The best-selling third-party bags all failed miserably. Every single one of them had a lot of visible fog, literally clouding up the entire room with fog. Again, though, in the case of the official Roborock product, in this case the bag, it did great. There was very little, if any, visible fog leaking from the bag, though there was a little leaking from the opening where it was kind of hard to seal it to the hose, but as far as the fog leaking from the bag, it seemed to be perfect or near perfect. So what is the moral of this story? If you care about filtration, and I think that you should, there is no way that I know of to guarantee that you are getting a quality filter other than buying the official replacement filter or bag from the manufacturer, even though it's often 5 or 6 times the price. It would be nice to know which third-party brands are actually selling genuine HEPA filters, but again, as far as I know, there is absolutely no way to do that unless you are physically testing them. And that's all for this video. If you like this kind of public service content, give this video a like for the algorithm, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you leave. Thanks for watching. All of the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our current favorite vacuums in multiple categories. You'll also find links to the Vacuum Wars website in the description, where we have more detailed lists of our favorite products, like our new top 20 robot vacuums list, which is updated weekly.